Just need extra people.
Do you have somebody?
Do you need an outcome?
Yes, you do. Thank you, Karen.
Time break for
Always coming through.
Okay.
Good morning. I call this meeting of Lake Mary Toastmasters Club 6440 to order. Before we proceed with the meeting, please silence your cell phone. I would like to ask everyone to stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Our club mission is to provide a supportive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Please help me welcome this morning our Toastmasters, Lori Richards.
Before we get started, and this is not an April Fool's joke, I do need a timer. Anybody?
Irving.
Oh, thanks, Erica.
All right, Erica.
Okay, so today's eating theme is April Fool's Day because tomorrow is April 1st, and it's in honor of my brother. It's his birthday tomorrow.
Is he fooling your mother?
Yeah. If you'll, if you look at the agenda, so Carrie's the off counter, Erica's the timer. We have just one speaker today, Julia, and then Mike Hughes will be giving a 20-minute evaluation after 10 minutes each. That's not true, that's actually a joke. But we're going to extend table topics to 2 minutes each, so that'll be challenging.
You're gonna do this, Master.
When do table topics end at, just to be sure?
Table topics should end at
8:18 is Caesar's Day.
8:18? Is that what you think? Yes, I think 8:18 would be good.
Extra question?
That's what I need.
We'll help you. We'll help you out, Ernst. Okay, so
Oh, here comes the big winner.
Oh, my
So today's meeting is April Fool's Day.
She can't sneak in, that's what she was doing, like, what is happening? I gotta go around that.
Okay, well, I gotta go out and get my coffee.
On this day in 1700, English pranksters, on tomorrow, April 1st, English pranksters began popularizing the annual tradition of April Fool's Day by playing practical jokes on each other. Although the day, also called All Fool's Day, has been celebrated for several centuries by different cultures, its exact origins remain a mystery. Some historians speculate that April Fool's Day dates back to 1582, when France switched from the Julian calendar to the Gregorian calendar, as called for by the Council of Trent in 1563. And people who were slow to getting around to realizing that you had to celebrate New Year's on January 1st, they continued to celebrate it at the end of March or at the beginning of April. So people thought they were foolish, or, they kind of made fun of them, and that's how it started, or that's one of the stories of how they think that it started. They would play practical jokes on them, and they would include paper fishes on their back, and it was said to symbolize a young, easily caught fish and a gullible person. These next three people are anything but gullible or foolish. So let's turn to our technical table now, And filling the role of grammarian today is the expressive and eloquent Macarena Torres. She is, you just sit and tell her she's feeling under the weather, but help me welcome Macarena Torres as our grammarian.
As grammarian, it is my function to select a word of the day to help build members' vocabularies. Each member, when called upon to speak, is encouraged to use the word of the day. Other members may gently rap on the table when they hear a member use the word. Today's word of the day is expeditious. It's an adjective. It means to done with speed and efficiency or quick. A couple of examples are an expeditious investigation or an expeditious answer to an inquiry. In addition, I will be listening for any errors in grammar, as well as excellent word selections. I will also be noting any colorful thoughts or phrases members might use. During the evaluation portion of the meeting, I will present my report.
We have our attentive and alert all counter, Carrie Bird.
As odd counter, it is my function to listen for the use of filler words such as you know, so, okay, and other audible pauses as fillers. I will be noting if members perform any double clutches, which means to say things twice, such as this means, this means. Finally, I will also be noting other distractions such as lip smacks, and I will give my report at the end.
Thank you.
Yay.
5 cents per infraction.
Yes, that's it.
Last but definitely not least, she's punctual and prompt, our timer and president, Erica Benefield.
Thank you, Toastmaster, for the kind words. I do expect an expeditious meeting today. And my function as the timer is to time the speakers and evaluators and table topic participants to ensure they meet timing requirements. For Julia's speech, she has requested how many minutes? Up to 12. Okay.
Do you want the segments timed or just the whole thing?
Whole thing.
Okay.
Thank you for clarifying that. Also, for table topics today, each question will have up to 2 minutes.
Unless Stephany wanted to speak.
Hey.
How many speakers do you have?
One.
Yeah, I'll speak.
Okay, so let's adjust it a little.
Let me see what I have here.
Okay, so we'll have 2 speakers.
Oh my gosh. What's the word of the day?
Expeditious.
Expeditious, I said it.
So we'll give her
Assume 5 to
minutes.
7.
5 to 7.
5 to 7, it's more like 5. I have my manual. The evaluator,
Give it to Irving, right?
Irving. Okay.
If you don't mind.
No problem.
He's used to pinch hitting.
I'm not.
I'm not gonna pinch you or hit you.
Irving, you told me you were gonna be here today.
I did tell you.
Oh God, I forgot. I wasn't coming myself. Sorry.
This conversation has nothing to do with the meeting.
Okay, so she will have 5 to 7 minutes.
Yes.
I got that. More like 5. And that means that table topics will now be 1 minute.
Normal.
1 minute, and that 30 seconds yellow card, 45 seconds green card, 1 minute red card. I will demonstrate the flashcards, and I look forward to giving my report at the end of the meeting.
That's what I like about Toastmasters. Everybody rolls with the punches. Historians have also linked April Fool's Day to ancient festivals such as Hilaria, which was celebrated in Rome at the end of March and involved people dressing up in disguises. There's also speculation that April Fool's Day was tied to the vernal equinox, or first day of spring in the northern hemisphere, when Mother Nature fooled people with changing, unpredictable weather, which we've seen that a lot this year. I don't have a good segue into Julia's introduction. So let me just start. In today's busy environment, it is easy to get distracted from leadership responsibilities by focusing on tasks at hand instead of on strategy. But when you neglect to keep your leadership priorities in front of you, everyone suffers. Your staff, your organization, and in the end, you. Our next speaker, Julia Kaufman, is presenting from Advanced Manual Speeches by Management, project number 3, Manage and Motivate. Julia will provide a simple system proven to engage and motivate your team based on the book 9 Minutes on Monday by James Robbins. Please welcome Julia Kaufman.
Thank you, Lori. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. No guest today.
Yes, we
Light
got Irving.
crowd.
Yeah, Irving.
Well, Irving, but he's just it's just Irving. A couple weeks ago, Lamar spoke about leadership, and he had asked his congregation about who thought they were leaders, and he didn't get any hands raised. A lot of people don't think they're leaders if they're not in a management position. As he asked people about what they do and the people they influence, then the hands started raising. Every one of us is a leader in some way, form, or fashion. Whether you are a parent, whether you are a friend, whether you own your own business, you play leadership roles. And in today's busy world where we're multitasking and trying to get things done, a lot of times the last thing that we fail to focus on is leadership skills. A lot of times people define leadership as you are born to be a leader, but that's not true. Leadership is an acquired skill. Everyone can be a leader if you focus and put your effort into it. A lot of you know I work for Scholastic Book Fairs, and at book fairs we read. We read a lot of children's books, but in leadership roles we also read a lot of leadership books. And every month we have a meeting and someone gives a book talk. One of the books that was recently book talked a couple months ago is 9 Minutes on Monday by James Robbins. And a lot of times people will read a book, and if you're interested you might read it, maybe not. Like I wouldn't read one on safety culture, just not my thing. But this book took on like fire. Everyone really took hold of the concepts in the book and are applying it. We had a recent sales meeting, and this book was a whole half-day session on just 9 Minutes on Monday. Today I want to talk about the excerpt of the 9 needs. What are those 9 needs that will motivate, engage, and inspire people? They're your basic human core needs that everybody, whether you are young, old, needs. So we're going to talk about that today. There's 4 basic ones in 5-hour rings. The 4 core basic needs are care, mastery, recognition, and purpose. Let's take a look at each one. Care. People, the basic need is care. People want to know they're cared about. And in leadership, a lot of times people think they're just a number, especially if you're in a department with a big staff. You're just grinding away and you're just another number. A good leader makes sure you don't feel that way. They make sure that they know who you are, they know what you do, and they care about you. And they show that care by the time they spend with you. I like this picture because Mike probably, if anybody's going to talk about that, in the military, you probably feel like a number, but a good leader makes sure that you take care of their squad. Mastery. A good leader makes sure that they are helping they're leading their staff by showing them growth, by showing those skill sets, that spending time with them so that they understand their job, they know what they're doing. In Toastmasters, we have mentorship. So our new members come in and you work with them so that they understand and can master the program that Toastmasters offers. Then we have recognition. Everybody wants to be recognized, right? Who doesn't want to be recognized for what they do? In Toastmasters, we have our award system, our progress. As we deliver speeches, we earn awards. we're recognized for our achievements. It's important. It makes you feel good that you are accomplishing and growing in your capabilities. Good leaders make sure they recognize their employees for, it doesn't have to be monetary. I think the most powerful recognition is simply showing that you were recognized for what you did. Spot on the moment that it happened. You go over and say, hey, that was a great job. I appreciate that you took the extra time on that report or whatever it is, but you're recognized for that accomplishment. Purpose. Everybody needs a purpose. Good leadership shows the purpose of what they're doing and how the big picture, the strategy behind what everybody does in their job. The purpose of Toastmasters is to develop self-development. And through our leadership, through Erica as our president, through Stephen, we have a purpose as to where we want to go and grow, each individual and as a club. Then we have autonomy. While you need to have leadership to show and direct, everybody wants to be in control of their own job. Who likes to be micromanaged in here? Raise your hands. Yeah, it's rough. And if you have a manager that micromanages, that's a tough one to have to do. So good leadership says, okay, this is the job, this is how you do it, now go do it. It may not be the exact same way that that person does, but at the end of the day, if the job gets done, that's all that matters. And growth. Everybody needs to progress. They want to grow. A lot of times in a organization or corporation, that's probably one of the hardest things to do with mass of employees. Macarena understands that we're working on career paths at work. And there's only so many jobs, and so people want to advance, and if there's only so many jobs, they might get demotivated by that. But growth is about your personal best. It's about education, growing. If it's not in that company, maybe it's another company. Good leaders recognize that, and they don't hold people back. They show them the way, they find out what they're interested in, and they help them get to that point. Connection. Everybody wants to connect. Everybody wants to understand that they are part of a team and that their role is important. That's probably, for me, one of the most important aspects of whether I'm in an organization, in my job. I want to connect. I want to know that what I do is important and that I want to show that to my staff and my fellow colleagues. Play. Who believes that you should be able to horse around or play in the workplace? I had asked a gentleman I worked with years ago. He was a new GM in Canada, and I jokingly asked, I said, do you believe in humor in the workplace? And he was deadpan, and he said no. And I laughed at that, which was probably not the best move. He was serious, and I so disagree with that. You spend a lot of time at work, and if you can't have fun at work, that's terrible. You should be able to laugh. I mean, there's work and there's play, and you have to understand the boundaries of horsing around at work. But man, to go in and be able to chuckle, to have a joke. Mac knows at our marketing meetings, I'm the one that's always saying something silly or probably stupid, but it gets people laughing. And it's just that release of being able to be human with each other and have some fun. Throw a couple pranks, Lori, with April Fools. I mean, so that they're not vicious, but fun, so that you have some laughs. If I was looking at the 9 E's, I think this is one of the most important things, to be able to enjoy yourself wherever you are, whether it's work or outside of work, whether it's in Toastmasters, to have some fun. I think that's one of the reasons I love this particular club, because we have a good time. We are able to laugh and carry on. So the need for play in the workplace. And then model. You want to model yourself as an example. Set the example for your colleagues, your friends even, your leadership, again, is whatever way you have to influence people is true leadership. So modeling the behavior that you expect from your staff is important. And it's important for them to understand that they have a way to model. All right, and then last, leadership is a practice. Practice makes perfect. No one is born a leader. You might have some good traits and characteristics that give you the edge over somebody else, but every person has to practice leadership skills. And in 9 minutes on Monday, they give you really a good practical, accessible way to be able to apply leadership skills. If you decide you want to read this book, some of the biggest values we tell you are, which we're going to go through one of them in a minute, the 9-minute template for maintaining focus, which to me is the most valuable. If you are a working manager, it's probably the hardest thing to do because you get so caught up in what you're doing that you forget to get your head outside the forest and look around and see how you take care of your employees. There's 3 key questions that will help you connect purpose to paycheck for your staff, and a 4-step formula for addressing subpar performance and driving complacency in the workplace. This book is just got a ton of accessible, applicable ideas, suggestions, and templates you can follow as you grow into your leadership role, whatever that might be. I have an extra copy that I'd like to add to our 50-50. If you're interested in getting a copy for yourself, try a 50-50 ticket. Now, I also printed the template that I want to go through, and this is the secret sauce of the book. This is what you use to follow every Monday, just 9 minutes a day for the whole week. That will give you that guide to make sure you're staying focused. It's not that you don't care about your staff, but you get so busy with other things that you forget about your staff and what's important to them. This template is your guide to make sure that doesn't happen. You want to pass that around. If I take a copy.
Secret sauce.
It is the secret sauce for fostering individual results every day. I use this. Most of you probably heard me talk about, Ernst, you read the book, Miracle Morning.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something about the Monday Miracle Mornings, but I have incorporated as part of my planning for the week, and it ties great with Miracle Mornings for me personally, and it has really helped me. I only have a staff of 1 person, and then I have colleagues that I work through across the country, and I actually take this and I say, well, how am I going to focus on a particular person, especially when we're long distance? So I use that, and if you look at it, it takes it out and it breaks it down into 3 areas. You've got your employee, you've got the job, and the environment. And it takes the 9 needs and builds it into each section. So under employee, you've got care, recognize, and grow. And then ask you a question. When and with whom will you show genuine interest or concern? And as you read the questions, you think about who that person is that you're going to focus on that week. If you do use this template every week, it will become a habit for you to make sure that you're focusing on those around you that you really care most about. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Jason, 1 minute on this one, please.
No, just one.
Thank you. Speaking from the Entertaining Manual, Project 2, Resources for Entertainment, our next speaker just doesn't know when to be quiet. Doing politically incorrect, please help me welcome distinguished Toastmasters Stephany, Bonnie, and Bernie.
Let me issue a disclaimer right out of the chute. While it is not my intention to offend anyone, step on your toes, I probably will. Because I am going to be politically incorrect this morning. Hopefully not too rough. A gentleman came into a prominent bank in New York and was demanding some type of service. And what he was asking for was beyond the scope of the rep who was attempting to help him. So as they bantered back and forth, she did this, as if to exert herself. The man went ballistic. Take your hand off your hip! Don't do that to me! You don't do that to me! You cannot put your hand on your hip! Taking her back, she's false. In my country, this is an insult! You do not do this to me! Remove your hands from your hip! This went on for a few moments. This man went livid. He grabbed up the nearest telephone. He's calling the main office. He wanted to get her fired. He expected her to know the customs in his country. Someone else went over and tried to gently remind him, you're not in your country. You're a guest in ours. He would not back down. Through the years, different words, terms, have morphed. Things that used to mean something else. I'm just amazed. You cannot say words that were totally acceptable before. Now, I'm not talking about the N word, the C word, the S word, F word. We know that you just don't throw those out at random in polite society or any society anymore. But to have to call a midget a little person. What is wrong with midget? Little person. What is that, a hobbit? A fairy or something? I would be insulted if I was that stature for someone to call me a little person. What is that? They're midgets. What is wrong with retarded? What is a loose definition of the word retarded? Slow in growth or development or maturation. It is what it is, people. Challenged. They're this challenge and that challenge. Visually impaired. You're blind. Hearing impaired. You can't hear, you're deaf. Homosexuals. Yeah, I'm going there. Oh, they're not homosexuals anymore, they're gay. What is that?
Happy.
I remember when gay meant happy. I did a speech on that once. Through the years, if a man was, we call them sissies. Now they're sensitive, effeminate men are now metrosexual. And I think that applies to the ambivalence as well. I saw this scenario in a bookstore, a Christian bookstore in New York, large store. Gentleman came in and there was a policy to check your backpacks because it is what it is. You have no right to ask me to check my backpack. I'm blind. Sir, the store's policy is to check your backpack. Manager, tapping the cane and banging. This is an insult, this is an outrage. He went on, and the people there were saying, sir, you have to, finally, I got tired of him. And I went over and I says, I bet you want to be treated like everybody else, don't you? Yeah. Well then, check your bag. Check your bag or get out of the store. Who are you? I said, I'm a customer. I don't work here. That's why I can say what I want to you. You want to be treated like everybody else? They're treating you like everybody else. Check your backpack or leave. Checked his backpack, and he shut up. African Americans. Yeah, go in there. Now I understand that we don't call them colored anymore. And rarely do we hear Negroes. But my goodness, how are we supposed to know what they want to be called? 1 week they're black, last week they were African Americans, next week will be American Africans. It is just not plausible, possible, or thinkable to know what people want to be referred to at any given time. Let me read you a couple of quotes about political correctness. Actually, political correctness is a sign of a feeble-minded Democrat and/or mush-brain liberal who is unable to defend their ideas and notions in a rational manner. A doctrine of cowardice. That's mine. PC, political cowardice. I'm going to end my tirade with this story. Hold on to your hats. I'm going to use the N-word. There was an attractive, aristocratic-looking black woman flying home to Atlanta with her young son. Into the flight, across the PA, just now, came the captain saying, "We're experiencing engine trouble. We're going to have to ditch some of the cargo." People were concerned, but not overly concerned. They did what they had to do. He says, "We're still carrying too much weight. We're going to have to start evacuating people." You know you don't evacuate people, you evacuate buildings. But we're going to evacuate the plane. And we're going to start in a democratic fashion. So will all African Americans report to the rear door. A few people got up and went. Then he said, all colored people report to the cargo door. A few more went. And he says, oh, I skipped B. B was before C. Black people to the cargo door. Some more went. After a while, the little boy tapped his mother and he said, "Mama, aren't we one of those?" She said, "Nah, baby, we Niagara's today."
One minute on the clock.
No, ma'am. Look on the back of your sheet.
No, I have actual printed. Okay, I don't know where my notes are, but let me introduce to you our table topics master. He is no joke, Mr. Ernst.
Fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. Last night I was trying to figure out what the theme of the meeting was, and somehow it missed me, or I couldn't figure it out. So expeditiously I went to myfloss.com and I came up with this idea. Why does your sandwich come with a pickle? With any sandwich you buy in the United States, you will receive an all too familiar side dish without any explanation, the pickle. But why? How did the pickle become such an iconic part of our daily experience? Even the character Death Devi pondered this question in Fiddler on the Roof. Where did the pickle come from? And more importantly, why does one always come with your sandwich? Mike.
Allow me to educate. A pickle with your sandwich is much like the coffee with your perfume. You smell the coffee beans, it clears your palate. You smell the perfume, it's fresher. The pickle actually cleanses the tongue and cleans it off with its vinegar and other ailments in there, which I found most appealing when I bite into a nice club sandwich from that deli, 2J's, wherever. Personally, I'm glad they include the pickle with my sandwich, because after one half of the sandwich, I get started real fresh and enjoy it again. Thank you.
Pickles have been around for thousands of years and were considered a delicacy as early as 2,400 years before Christ. Pickle became popular in the United States, though, when the first Jewish immigrant came to New York from Eastern Europe. Famous for their unique combination of meat, Jewish delis in the city used pickle as a plate cleaner. Oh, palate cleaner, I'm sorry, palate cleaner. The acidity allows you to experience the sharp contrasting flavors and more fully appreciate the taste of your sandwich. The specific deli that was first to place a pickle alongside a sandwich is unknown, but the practice quickly spread beyond Jewish delis. What is the difference between the kosher dill pickle and the normal one? Irving!
Stephany, I can be politically incorrect here.
You can do anything you want, Irving.
The non-Jews have no clue how to make a good pickle. They didn't schlep 40 years in the desert. Therefore, how could they know what's bitter and what's sweet? Who ever heard of a sweet pickle till you got to South Florida? Ladies and gentlemen, the difference between a good kosher pickle, which comes in a barrel and you put your hand in, because we're not sanitized, we just think if we're Jewish, we're kosher. So you can put your hand in. But the non-Jews, the little tongs, the little paper bag, they lose it. They lose the taste. What's the difference? The difference is like night and day, chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, and bananas. There's no comparison. Try a kosher pickle with your half a sandwich. Thank you.
Thank you. Across the city of New York, the pickle's popularity grew, and by 1930, entrepreneurs became pickle vendors across the Lower East Side. In fact, there were famous pickle wars that occurred between the vendors competing for a monopoly in the sour sensation. Today, the pickle has been given its own festival in New York and is celebrated in October. If you had to make a pickle, non-kosher pickle, what would you use? Non-kosher pickle.
Bacon.
Stephany, you're from New York. If you had to make a pickle, what would you use? Let me rephrase it. If you had to make a pickle, what would you have to use as an ingredient or as ingredients? How would you make a pickle?
I first go to the store and buy a pickle. A cucumber. You start with a cucumber and some brine and some thyme. It's not done expeditiously, it's over time that the cucumber is cured and made. And then you get a good price and you jack it up and voila, you've got a pickle. Thank you.
If you are in a pickle, what is the meaning and where does it come from?
Stephen.
Mr. Table Topics Master, I'm in a pickle because I dislike cucumbers altogether. So now when you start talking about pickles, all I want to do is say, I don't care. If you're going to have your pickle wars, I want the mutually assured destruction. If you're asking me about which one's kosher, I want to know which one's circumcised. I'm not going to have an answer for you. I do not like them. I do not want them. Do not put them on my sandwich and stop asking me about them. Mr. Table Topics Master.
Rants this morning.
In modern times, people have gone circumcised pickles. In modern times, people have gone to great lengths to create elaborate April Fool's Day hoaxes. Newspapers, radio, TV stations, and websites have participated in April 1st tradition of reporting outrageous fictional claims that have fooled their audiences. In 1957, the BBC reported that thanks to a very mild winter and the virtual elimination of the dreaded spaghetti weevil, Swiss farmers were experiencing a record spaghetti crop and showed footage of people harvesting noodles from trees. And you can actually see that on YouTube. I watched it last night. It was like this documentary that they really fooled a lot of people. People wrote into the station wanting to know how they could get a spaghetti plant themselves and how to care for it. In 1985, Sports Illustrated tricked many of its readers when it ran a made-up article about a rookie pitcher named Sid Finch, who could throw a fastball over 168 miles per hour. And in 1996, Taco Bell, the fast food restaurant chain, duped people when it announced that it had agreed to purchase Philadelphia's Liberty Bell and intended to rename it the Taco Liberty Bell. And Burger King advertised a left-handed Whopper, and there were scores of clueless customers requesting the fake sandwich. I like how April Fools somehow led to pickles. That just kind of really works with my kind of thinking too, and how then it led to circumcision. I don't know. Our general evaluator would never be called. Oh, I have to read this article to you by John Dvorak in the April 1994 issue of PC Computing magazine. He described a bill going through Congress that would make it illegal to use the internet while drunk, or even to discuss sexual matters over a public network. The bill was supposedly numbered 040194, and passage of the bill was felt to be certain because who wanted to come out and support drunkenness and computer sex was the thinking. He noted that the bill had come about because the internet was so often referred to as an information highway, and he noted that Congress apparently thinks being drunk on a highway is bad no matter what kind of highway it is. The article generated so many outraged phone calls to Congress that Senator Edward Kennedy's office had to release an official denial of the rumor that he was the sponsor of the bill. So that actually really did happen. Our general evaluator would never be caught driving drunk on the information highway, so please join me in welcoming Stephen Morgan.
Just because I don't really drink much, right? Okay, now it's time to get the feedback and to learn and grow on this very entertaining topic. We shall start with our evaluators, and our first evaluator this morning, Mike Hughes, evaluating Julia's speech. Please welcome Mike.
Speech is by management. Objectives: understand the concept and nature of the motivational method and the management. Apply a 4-step motivational method, which objectives to persuade and inspire. Deliver a speech. So, did you deliver a motivational speech? Persuade, inspire? Was it organized? Yes, absolutely. Excellent job on that. Did the speaker make her proposal understood? Yes, I did. Had one question though. Excuse me. Leadership versus management. What's the difference? Because some people look at leadership as having people follow them. Management is, hey, take care of the paper and all the admin stuff. So there's a little bit of crossover, and I want a little bit more clarification as to the differences in the two. Did the speaker establish mutual understanding? Yes. Excuse me. Did she appeal to the beliefs and values of the listener? Yes, because I think we're all going to be leaders or managers at some point in our life. I almost think it's inevitable, because the longer you stay in an organization, the more responsibility they're going to throw at you. Did the speaker, I didn't mean to do that. Did the speaker show the advantages of the proposal? Yes, better leadership skills. Use your people, not use your people, excuse me. Use your time and evaluate each person. Spend, I think, more time with each individual and go through what you gave us, that paperwork. I found that fascinating and actually very effective, and I'm going to apply that when I actually go back to the military next month. How and when did the speaker make use of gestures? One thing I found that I liked is you were talking about getting people to relax and make the joke, and you had the PowerPoint about funny. And you came up here and you posted up and just got relaxed. I found that very effective because your body language complemented what you're trying to say. It's make people laugh, feel relaxed, which was a great use of your body language. Were they dynamic? Maybe not, but it was effective, so you get points for that. Did the speaker build an incentive to talk, into the talk? Yeah, be a better leader. I think that should inspire all of you. If it doesn't, then maybe you're in the wrong job, but who knows? Did the speaker inspire the audience? Describe briefly what techniques were used. Were they effective? Yes, relatability, connection. You connected with all of us. One thing I wanted you to do was when you move around just a little bit more and connect with each individual person. Because as a leader, you have to sometimes get in somebody's face, give them the what for, or step back and approach the whole. So, just something, little tidbits that I liked, and a recommendation if I were. Did the speaker persuade and inspire the audience to act? Yes, I believe he did. Because seeing the PowerPoint, the handout, I'm inspired to go do something better when I go to work. The great point that I wanted to point out, yeah, that was good English. Yeah, strict that for the record. We forget about our staff, absolutely. We get so busy dealing with the paperwork or getting this report done for the boss. We forget about who's below us and their needs or what they got going on. So I wanted to point out, I was like, that's an excellent point to bring up, because so many of us really do forget about the person below us, and we worry too much about the person above us. Don't forget who's below you, because they're the one keeping you in the position you're at. So I'm going to leave you on that note. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike. And our second evaluator this morning, taking on the hip pocket speech from Stephany Bonnie Byrne, Irving G, visiting to help us this morning.
7:30 in the morning, and Stephany wants to bring up politically incorrect. It was actually a very good speech. It touched my heart because I sat there after the first couple of minutes and says, am I Jewish American or an American Jew? And now I'm totally confused. I've given up my political party, so you can't call me liberal or conservative. I don't care anymore. Which is also the name of my health insurance company. Entertainment. That is difficult, especially for somebody like me, because I have no sense of humor. It also brought to mind the fact that I've traveled a little bit. And when I lived overseas for a little bit before they deported me back here, I had the horriblest time understanding culture. Such as in Korea, when you walk into a house, the first thing you do, take off your shoes. 2, you have to shake with 2 hands. And you have to do this and you don't do that, and watch the chopsticks, especially if Irving's using chopsticks, because they fly in the air. But let's get back to Stephany. Dwarf, midget, you're offending me. I might not be basketball height, but you know, I like to be called height challenge. I'm the right weight, but I'm the right weight, I'm not the right height. You know, you can offend me. Your use of stories, both personal and otherwise, although I'm beginning to believe all the stories were about you. Very good. Your vocal variety, you know when to stop, you know when to pause, let the 2 brain cells of Irving connect. Okay, now I'll move on. What would I have done differently? I guess because you use politically incorrect, I would have liked to have heard a politician, you know, incompetently competent, something like that. You know, we elected them and then they do everything we expect them to do. They steal from us, they harm us, and then they thank us for our vote. Other than that, I actually enjoyed getting up to hear the speech. And yours too, Julian. I don't want to discriminate, you know, yellow, chocolate, taller, smaller, you know, I don't discriminate. And without further ados or don'ts, it's 8:20. It's time to go.
Thank you, Irving. For our technical table report, we shall begin first with our timer. How did we do with time this morning, Erica?
We made good use of our time today, General Evaluator. Starting with Julia, she requested 10 to 12 minutes. She actually used 12 minutes and 40 seconds. Stephany, who said she was definitely only going to need 5, she actually used 7 minutes and 20 seconds.
April Fool.
April Fools!
You just give her a minute, she'll take an hour.
Table topics. Speaker 1, mic cues, you were allowed 60 seconds, you spoke for 35 seconds. Irving, you were given 60 seconds, you spoke for 1 minute and 9 seconds. Stephany, 25 seconds. Stephen, 24 seconds. Evaluator 1, mic cues, 3 minutes and 24 seconds. Irving, 2 minutes and 36 seconds. And that is my report.
And our counter, probably pumping up the numbers this morning. How are we doing with that?
Alexander was clean glory. 1 ah, 4 ums, 1 you know, 1 so, 1 but, 3 and, 2 double buttons. Woo, how many is
And a
that?
partridge in a pear tree.
Seriously.
Ernst, 1 double clutch. Mike, 1 ah, 3 so's. Irving, 2 you knows. Julia, 1 ah, 1 1 you know, 4 ands, and 3 double clutches. Anybody else?
Moving expeditiously to the grammarian. And how our use of the English language was this morning, Margarita.
Is it okay to All right. The ones that used the word of the day were Ernst, Stephany, Erica, and Stephen. Irving, I liked how you used schlep through the desert. And height challenge. I usually say vertically challenged myself. I feel you.
Vertical was too big a word for my people.
Stephen, I liked how you used circumcised pickles.
Yeah.
And Julia, I liked how you used secret sauce of the book. Mike, instead of using cuz, say because.
All right. Semantics.
That's my report.
For a general evaluation of the meeting, you've got the April Fool's joke right off the bat as we're arranged backwards.
There you go.
All we needed next was to do the meeting in backwards order, then things would have been really interesting.
Oh, yeah.
But nonetheless, we got the history lesson as it was. Of things I can suggest, the Toastmaster, Table Topics Master, you had the material that you were presenting yourselves could have just been speeches on your own.
Yes.
You might want to consider that. Leave more time for more table topics, not that I wanted to hear more about pickles.
How about circumcision?
Go with that, right? Stephany, thank you for the hip pocket speech. Sounded more like just a rant, but nonetheless, it works out. Nice adjustments for the agenda. Thank you for giving us all those changes up front, and always we were juggling times and trying to get things in now. The evaluators in particular, I'm supposed to give specific feedback for the evaluators, and here's the thing I'm going to have to give you. You guys, you're too damn nice. Those were whitewash evaluations.
There's a lady present.
Those were whitewash evaluations. You could have given more specific suggestions for improvement. And I don't mind that we're giving all the encouragement. The encouragement is what we really want to have here, that's for sure. But you could have given specifics of the speeches or things to suggest for more, either changes in wording or gestures or the technical. Add it right there in the middle, is what I would say for that. Be careful calling the evaluators for table topics since they're preparing the evaluations. And you learned it after you started.
Evaluators. We look like a lost cause.
You learned it right after you started, as you realized you had yourself set there, but because of the arrangement of the room where the speakers were, you got yourself stuck over here, away from your drink and your notes. Plan ahead when you're Toastmaster to know where you want people to be, including yourself. And thank you for bringing stuff up from Mind Floss.
Okay.
We needed quite a bit of that this morning.
Yeah.
Madam President, the election is yours.
I like the change in the room for some positive change. Thank you, Stephen. How many of you would like to enter the 50-50 for the book? I brought my purse up because I know I do.
Is this the 50-50 for the
Yes,
book?
so it's $1, $2, or $5,
Just raffling the book then?
right? We're just raffling the book today. Thank you, Julia, so kindly.
This is $2. Maybe it's 3 tickets. 1, 2, 3.
I need the schedule.
I don't know cash. We need a credit card swipe.
Anyone else, I think, Alexander? Well, while she's doing that, let me ask Irving to formally introduce himself. Give us a few seconds and tell us what you thought of the meeting. Thank you.
My name is Irving. I know it's Stephany because it's on my badge. They put the badge on me in case I'm lost, returned to my dogs. I'm the Area 43 governor, which has nothing to do with this club. This is John's problem. And I'm only up this early, and it should be at the dog park, but Stephany said she was going to bring me a treat. But she's politically incorrect. Oh, she's going to use the politically incorrect excuse, I forgot. Other than that, thank you very much for having me.
Next week's meeting, Toastmaster will be Ernst. Speaker 1, Nicole. Can I have a volunteer to follow up with Nicole since she wasn't here today, but she signed up? I can send an email out just to remind everyone to go into Easy Speak.
I don't
But
think the phone number in there is a good one.
it's not a good one. Okay, so let's make note of that as well. Lori, you're speaker number 2. I'm speaker number 3. Jorge Friggles is table topics master. He's not here today. Julia will be general evaluator. Evaluator 1, Martin Bell. Evaluator 2, Juliana. Evaluator 3, Paul Walsh. Odd counter, Rich Massat. Romarian, Jeff Campana. Timer, Lamar. So I look forward to having everyone back and from vacation mode. I missed you all last week. I was on a boat in Jamaica on that day. That was very interesting. I also was hypnotized on the boat, which I found very interesting. I was one of 4 people asked to go on stage, and that'll be something that I might share during my speech next week. Any commentaries before I go into club business as far as financials? Any other comments? Tonight is our cutoff for the district conference. If you register online, you will save $15. $15 is lunch, coffee with a friend. Save that money and log online and register because it will be at the Florida Hotel. Also, it's been brought to my attention that we have not met our 20 renewal memberships. How many do you feel that we have right now?
I think we have like 13 or 14.
13 or 14. So what I'd like to propose is I will send out an email today, but I want to also do a one-on-one and make some phone calls. Find out if it's a request for needing a bill for their company, if there's a need for a credit card transaction, like what is the cause of this, you know, having not paid? We're about 22 members, and having 13 registered with a month's notice is something pretty serious I take to heart. So I'll be making some phone calls today. I'll get a poll to find out what happens. And then those officers that are here, is April Fool's a good day to do a conference call with a show of hands? Will you guys be available? Morning or afternoon?
Going once, going
Morning or
twice.
afternoon?
Afternoon.
Afternoon after 2?
Yeah,
You want to do 2:30 or you want to do in the evening?
2:30 is fine for me.
Okay, 2:30 conference call. Send the 800 number so that we can have it recorded. And any other commentaries today?